Hey blues fans, I wanted to expand on the last lesson about minor pentatonics starting on the A string notes. So here's an example of that minor pentatonic scale. And because that first note is on the C, which is the root note, it is a C minor pentatonic. That second note of the scale, in this case it's an E flat, can also be played at the first fret of the D string. And I like playing this note here because it puts my fingers in better position to slide in the notes. So if I play the C, then I can play this E flat with my first finger, and then the F note with my third finger, and I can slide up to the G note here. So I like sliding into notes because it gives it a bluesier feel. The first note of the scale, or the root note, is commonly referred to as the 1, and it's denoted by a Roman numeral 1. So in this case, the 1 note is a C. Right below the 1 note is the 4 note. In this case, it's an F. The 4 note is denoted by the Roman numeral 4, and it's called the 4 note because it's the fourth note in a major scale. When this 1 note is on the low A or the low E string, the 4 note is always right below it, one string below. 2 frets up from the 4 note is the 5 note. In this case, it's a G. The 5 note is denoted by the Roman numeral 5. And it's called the 5 note because, you guessed it, it's the 5th note of a major scale. And the 5 note is always 2 frets higher than the 4 note. And this triangular relationship between the 1, 4, and 5 always stays the same, even when the notes are starting up on the low E string. It makes it a lot easier to figure out what chords to play in a 1, 4, 5 blues progression. So in this case, the 1 note is a C, so we would play something like a C seventh. The 4 note is an F, so we play like an F seventh. The 5 note is a G, so we play a G seventh. So knowing these 4 notes, or excuse me, these 3 notes, will give you an idea of what chords to play in a 1, 4, 5 blues. So what we can also do is play some of these notes on the low E string. So here, we're playing the 4 note. We can also play it 1 octave lower on the E string. So in this case, the 4 note's an F, and we can play the F down on the first fret of the low E. And on the 5 note, which is a G, we can play it 1 octave lower down on the E string, the 3rd fret, which is also a G. The flat 7th of the minor pentatonic scale, in this case it's a B flat, can also be played an octave lower, and we can play that on the 1st fret on the A string, which is again a B flat note. So if I hide all the other notes, you see that we have a nice little box with all the notes of the minor pentatonic. And not to bore you with theory, but the minor pentatonic scale consists of the 1st, the 1, okay, the flat 3rd, the 4, the 5, and the flat 7th. So in a minor scale, or excuse me, in a major scale, you have a 1, a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 7th. So you would play the 7th 1 fret down, the 3rd you would play that 1 fret down. That gives you the flat 3rd or the flat 7th. So you can see you have a nice little box here, okay, and then you can actually take that box and move it up the fret. So here, because that 1 note is now on a D, this is a D minor pentatonic. If we move it up 2 more frets, the 1 note is on an E, and it's an E minor pentatonic. So you could play some pretty cool licks just within this little box here. Um, I'll probably do a video lesson on that, but but that's it. I hope this little lesson gives you a little bit more understanding and helps you playing on your minor pentatonics. That's it. I am out. We'll have more lessons for you in the future.